Hi, I'm Rachel, and that's Luke behind me, and welcome to another Chico QOM attempt. So the last time that we were in Chico, up visiting my parents, I went for the Honey Run TT, which is one of the big climbs in the area, and it's pretty long, with the first part being pretty flat, and then it gets steeper. But turns out that there's another segment within that segment, surprise, surprise, that starts where it actually gets steep. And I was not able to get that one the last time we were there, so I decided that this trip would be a great time to go ahead and try to get it. It's 2.7 miles at an average gradient of 6%, but it starts off a little bit steeper and goes through some switchbacks, so it's not a steady 6%. There's definitely some pitches in it. You can see all the nice graffiti that's on the road surface there. Coming up pretty soon is a smiley face on the road surface, which I always remember. It's like, hello, happy you're here, enjoy the climb. And it's right after one of the steeper pitches, so you're always kind of like, the smiley face is just laughing at me, laughing at my pain. Oh, there it is. Yeah, they actually repaved the top section of Honey Run. So if any of you watched our previous QOM video, you'll notice that they're sort of like in the top 2/3 of the climb. There was like this flat section that was filled with a bunch of graffiti, and then the road surface turned to absolute garbage. Well, they decided to actually create a nice road surface after the graffiti flats. And now it's super nice pavement, which was another reason that we decided that it might be fun to go and try and see if I could get this QOM. Because the road surface is now no longer terrible, but actually really fun to ride. But sadly, it did get rid of a lot of the graffiti on graffiti flats, so now it's just kind of like black tarmac flats, which is not quite as fun.
This section's still the old pavement.
Yeah, this section's still the old pavement, so you can still pick out your favorite piece of graffiti there on the road. It was sort of a big thing at the high school that I went to. A lot of people would go and try to tag the surface of Honey Run. I never did, but it's definitely a thing. So there's a lot of so-and-so loves so-and-so and other high school shenanigans like that. There's also some smiley faces on the rocks on the sides of the thing. So if you saw back there, there's a smiley face actually on the rock surface, and there's 3 of them. So you can count them as you go up the climb and know kind of how far up you're getting. This section of Honey Run is still officially closed off to cars, but as you can see by the guy that we just passed, there's still some walkers that walk along here, so it's something to be careful of when you're going up. And also, even though the road is technically closed to cars, we have definitely seen some hooligans driving their ATVs down, which is significantly worse when you're, I guess it's bad either way, whether you're ascending or descending it now, but people definitely don't really listen to the road closed sign, so you kind of always have to be a little bit on your guard, even though it's pretty unlikely that you're going to run into anyone. about here is when I was starting to question everything. Because you feel like you should be almost around every turn, you should be almost to the flat section and then to the second half of the climb, but you just keep going around switchback after switchback. So eventually here, we're gonna get to the little flat section where you get a little bit of reprieve. You can see we're hitting it right about now, where all that black asphalt starts, and the road surface is just super perfect, especially because cars right now technically aren't supposed to go down, so it really is just a beautiful surface to ride on.
There's already graffiti.
There's already graffiti. You knew it would happen. Definitely less graffiti than previously. But, give it another 10 years.
Say the new surface was a little wet in the shade, and there were some rocks that if you hit at speed you were probably going down, so it wasn't necessarily faster all the time, but yeah, it's definitely better than the pavement that came before it.
Yeah, and Luke would know because he actually ended up going for the long segment immediately after I did my little effort, so he was actually going at a significantly greater speed going up this part than I was. I just had one little instance where I kind of had to slow down on a hairpin to avoid hitting some rocks. But other than that, it wasn't too bad for me.
I got to go to battle with Mr. Ian Boswell, and spoiler alert, I did not beat his time, even with the better pavement.
But you almost beat him on the arrow section of the climb, so...
I'm just a time trialist at heart. But yeah, his time's really strong. I think it's going to stand for a while. I was happy to get, I think it was second overall.
And you actually ended up getting second on this segment too, right?
Yeah, I got like a 12-minute something for this segment.
So not too shabby.
But that was inside of the 20-minute longer climb. Which is how it should be. You just go for all of it, Rachel. Fight fire with fire.
Lisa did not go for all of it within the same ride, so I stand by my 2 separate efforts.
And you know Lisa. So this is personal.
Well, that's when it's always the most fun, right? When it's not just a name on a screen. Here she was still almost beating me. May actually have been beating me at this point. I just kept seeing the little behind thing flashing at me at my Wahoo, but I was like, just don't give up, just keep going. Maybe the GPS data is wrong, you never know.
I had no clue how close we were. My GPS data was completely bogus in the back here, so I didn't know if it would be an emotional, sad day at the top. I was just hoping.
Luke was prepared for drama.
I was like, oh man, I think she's behind. I think she's really behind, maybe a minute and a half.
I saw these lovely cyclists just enjoying their life up Honey Run.
They look like they're having so much fun, and here we are. You're doing a max effort, and I'm trying to keep up with the GoPro in my mouth. Wouldn't have it any other way. I mean, I would have beaten Ian Boswell if I hadn't been in severe oxygen debt from
yeah, that was the only thing. I'm sure he didn't go up the climb with a GoPro in his mouth before he did his effort.
My poor little red blood cells were just starved of oxygen, and that's why I couldn't do the extra 40 watts.
Yeah.
that were needed.
It's
You know,
100%
close
it.
the 1 minute gap between us.
You know, it was also a little bit cold. Maybe he did his during the summer when it was more than, 50 degrees.
Oh yeah, he probably had a huge tailwind and
Yeah. No, you can tell I have those two little bulges coming out of the sides of my legs. Those are not gross or anything like that. Those are just gloves, because when we left our house in the morning, it was sub 50 degrees. So gloves were definitely required for the early start to the ride. Here you can see I'm messing with my Wahoo. It's because my segment disappeared. I had no idea. No idea when the segment ended. No idea if I had gotten the time.
I had no problems with my full length Honey Run TT segments.
I'm so happy for you.
Maybe if you did that one, you would have had fewer issues.
Never again.
That was a good little arrow move there.
I knew that it got flat, and then I knew that it got slightly steeper, and then I knew it ended somewhere around here because it didn't go red. And I was like, okay, I think it's over, but I don't know, so I'm gonna keep going.
And there it is.
I'm gonna keep going. I don't know when it ends. When I got to this point, I was like, I'm pretty sure it ends at least before you hit the old pavement. So you can see I just totally done.
And we meant to have 2 cameras for this whole effort, but Rachel hit start when she thought she was hitting stop, and you know how it goes. All we got was this.
My segment didn't end. It disappeared.